It is time to talk real estate now for the first time in the new year. Hello, Ozzie.
Hi there. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. And now for the first time in the new year, we also got our BC assessments, and people are getting a look at how much more their properties are worth.
Yeah, well, it makes you feel initially good, and then you think, oh, wow, my tax is going to go up, but not necessarily.
Yeah, explain that to us.
Well, if the taxes in if your assessment in the general neighborhood went up just the same, by the same percentage, then your taxes are really based on the assessment that the city uses the assessment to put the tax rate on it.
Okay.
But if your assessment went up much higher than your neighbors, then yes, you should fight it, particularly if you want to stay.
You should fight it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, assessments were always about 25% behind, particularly in Vancouver in the last few years.
What do you mean 25%?
Well, I think whatever your assessments were, the market value probably was 25% higher.
More.
But maybe this year, in many parts of the province, maybe the BC Assessment Authority played catch-up.
Oh.
And like we have some increases on Vancouver Island, 60%. Ooh, that's quite a huge jump. But on the other hand, I sold condominiums for $60,000 in Kimberley 2 years ago, and now they're selling for $120,000. We've had real market value increases as well.
So here's my question. What types of people, if they're unhappy with their assessment, who has a good case to appeal it, and how do you appeal it?
Well, two things. First of all, it's based on last July market valuation.
Okay.
So you should find some sample sales to see that if your sample sales in the neighborhood were less, then you have a good case to appeal.
Okay.
And one great way to do this, use the BC Assessment website. This is actually a great website this year.
It's www.assessment.bc.ca. So how do people do it? Because I already looked on my I already looked on the website to compare my house to my neighbor's homes. Exactly. We're all in the same ballpark, but now you can actually see how much they sold for.
That's right. So you type in your address, and then and don't get too hung up that it doesn't show you exactly the town that you're in, because really, if you put in Kootenays and Stemwinder Drive or something, it'll find you in Kimberley.
Okay.
And then you have all the units that are assessed on your street. See how that compares, and then there's a button right beside it which shows solds, and there you see all the sales. So I would pick a sale. In my argument to maybe with the assessment authority, saying, look, these are sales where they were lower than mine and they're very similar to mine, and then I would talk to an assessor. You'll find them actually very helpful. I mean, they don't want to over-assess you either.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How amenable is the city to actually reassessing an assessment?
Well, I mean, if you have a case, absolutely they will. That's what, and you know, the website is great, but you only got till January 31st to do it. After that, you hold your peace.
So how do you do it?
So you can fax them, you can email them, you pick up the phone. If you're in a smaller community, I would always call the assessor, look, this is what I found, my neighbor sold for this much, mine is this much. How did you arrive at that? I really think mine is worth $30,000 less. And you'll find them generally, they look at it, and they'll tell you what they're going to do. Then if you don't agree with them, or they don't agree with you, then make a written complaint, and then they will review it.
If your assessment did go up quite a bit, you think it's unfair, you don't want to pay more taxes, but you don't know how much taxes you're going to pay, can you find that out first before you decide to fight the assessment? Because if you're not paying any more taxes, what's the point, right?
The city generally has already out that they're going to increase their taxes here by 2% or 4 or 5%. So if your assessment went up just like all of your neighbors, that's all you will have, 4 or 5%. But if your assessments are like substantially higher, yes, your taxes will be higher as well.
All right, we're out of time, Ozzie. Thank you so much. If you have any more questions for Ozzie, or you would like to purchase a copy of his newsletter, www.jurock.com, or you can call 604-683-1111.